Okay, yeah, we're good. I'm ready to go live, just to let you know. I'm ready to hit the button. Everybody feeling good? All right,
Yeah, I'm
you
ready to
feeling
go.
good? All right, cool. I'm gonna go live. Your name and your title and everything will be there. So here, where am I coming through? On the website?
Hello, happy Sunday to you all, friends of Batahola, friends and lovers of Nicaragua, of arts, of culture, of development. It is wonderful to be back here with you all today. It was a great pleasure just about a year ago to be celebrating a back to school event. And today we are celebrating something really important, really amazing. 40 years of existence of the cultural center of Batahola Norte, which has made such a difference in countless lives in Nicaragua of young people, children, adolescents, women, grown adults. There really is not enough words to describe the impact that this amazing center has had on the lives of so many people in Nicaragua, but also on our lives. Those of us who consider ourselves to be friends of Nicaragua and whose lives have truly been transformed for the better because of this amazing center. It is wonderful to welcome you here today to celebrate these 40 years. So much has happened in these 40 years. And I think it's important as we begin this event today, as we celebrate the 40 years, as we donate and give generously to this amazing cause, to remember that 40 years ago today, Nicaragua found itself in the middle of a harsh and brutal civil war. And really, 1983 was one of the worst years of that conflict. And so to imagine the founders, Margarita, Angel, and the people of the community starting something, a place of peace, of joy, of hope in the midst of such conflict, is such an amazing reminder to us that amazing things happen even during some of the most difficult times. And over those 40 years, there has been conflict, poverty, natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, pandemics, and political strife. And still, 40 years later, this center is still up and running, and in many ways is stronger than ever. So a big happy birthday, a big happy 40th to the folks at the CCBN today. It is a real pleasure and honor for me to be here. I hope that you all have had a chance to check out the website of this wonderful event. There's some amazing pictures that really go through the 40 years of history. No doubt you'll see some familiar faces from way back. And just a few weeks and months ago, there's amazing artwork up on the website. And of course, there are many wonderful ways and options for donating. Folks, we are already at the $6,000 mark or a little bit beyond it, which is a wonderful way to start off an event like this. Our goal today, of course, being 15,000 or much, much more. So please be generous. Please take the time to donate. Today, I will be joining you all as kind of the MC, the host of this event. But really, the star of the show is, of course, the Cultural Center and its people. But in a very special way, I am so excited to be inviting into the room here our special guest for the day, who is none other than Miss Claudia Regina Mercado Quintero. You know, if you have met Claudia, and many of you probably have, whether in person or virtually, to know Claudia is to love Claudia. It's much like the center, it's much like Nicaragua. Once you've known and had an experience with this person, it's kind of an immediate love. for their energy, their passion. And she, like so many of the people at the CCBN, is a product of the center. So began going there at a young age, was a part of the scholarship program, was a part of project education, and it really imbues in her life the values of the center and her dedication to working for women and their rights, young people and their rights. And now at 35 years of age, we are so proud and happy that Claudia is now a member of she acts as the general coordination assistant at the Cultural Center of Batahola Norte. So she has dedicated so much of her life to the center and is really a living example of everything that the center stands for. So she is going to serve as our special guest today. Claudia, buenos días, bienvenida.
Good morning. Sí, emocionada de estar con ustedes, de estar con todas esas personas que se están conectando y como muy bien lo dijiste, a celebrar nuestros 40 años.
We are so pleased, so happy to be here with you all today, with all the people who are joining us from all over the world today as we celebrate these 40 years of existence of the Cultural Center.
No sé, mi nombre es Claudia Mercado, para las personas que aún no me conocen. Bueno, llegué al centro cuando tenía 17 años y pues ha sido una gran trayectoria. Llegué chavala con muchos nervios, pero realmente emocionada de tener un espacio para mí.
So for those of you who might not have had the chance to meet me over the years, my name is Claudia Mercado. And as we were saying before, I've spent so much of my life at the center, in and around it. I arrived at the age of 17 as a young woman, a young girl with lots of energy and excitement. And this center has been such a formative place for me over those years. And I am thrilled to be celebrating these 40 years as well.
Entonces, esta chavala de 17 años, ahora, después de haber sido acompañada durante su adolescencia y juventud, ahora está acompañando a otras vidas y gracias a ustedes.
Yeah. So now, you know, that young woman who came here with so many dreams and so many hopes and received the accompaniment and support of so many amazing people on the team, on the staff at the center, is able to give back in that special way. I now work in a position where I too can support and accompany so many people in their life work, in their dreams and their hopes. And that really, all of that work is thanks to you and your generosity. Y yo sé, Claudia, que hoy durante esa actividad vamos a poder ver varios videos, varias imágenes del centro. So I'm just sharing, I know today we'll have the opportunity of seeing several different videos, different images from the center that will hopefully really show off some of the great work that this center does. Creo que ya pronto vamos a ver el primer video que habla del nacimiento. No sé si quiere hablar un poquito de ese video.
Sí, realmente les puedo decir que esta mañana ustedes van a hacer un recorrido histórico de cómo inició ese sueño de Ángel y Margarita y lo que somos ahora.
We're very excited this morning that you'll have a chance through these videos that we've created for this event. You're going to go on a journey with us. And we're really going to go through the history, the chronological history of this center and all that it's accomplished over the 40 years. And we'll begin by going back 40 years to the founders, Sister Margarita and Father Ángel, and really focus a bit on the dream of our founders.
Y las personas que están ahorita conectadas y se van a ver identificadas en algún momento de este recorrido de 40 años y sé que lo van a disfrutar y ustedes ahí se van a dar cuenta de ese resultado, de esa confianza y de esa fe que aún sigue viva.
And so I know for folks who have been friends of our center for years, or maybe folks who are newer to this friendship, you're going to see familiar faces. I think you'll see great signs of hope and joy and of growth. And I think one thing that will stand out very clearly through these videos is just how big of an impact this center has had, how it has really lived out its dream and has changed countless lives. I think you'll really see that.
Entonces, en este primer video vamos a conocer la familia Guido, que fue una de las primeras familias que llegó a la organización, y también cómo Ángel y Margarita realizaron ese trabajo comunitario.
So here in this first video, we're going to have a chance to meet the Guido family. And this is a family who has been involved with the center really since its very beginning, since its founding. And we'll see the ways in which Sister Margarita and Father Ángel really had a big impact in the lives of this family and in turn in the whole community.
Let's begin.
Very good. Let's take a look at that first video.
Mi nombre es Veronica Guido, tengo 55 años y soy actriz de teatro y licenciada en pedagogía. Batahola Norte era una nueva oportunidad de vida, iniciar, ¿verdad?, en una casa, en una habitación con mayor dignidad, en un barrio con mejoras sociales, ¿verdad?, donde teníamos agua, donde teníamos luz, donde teníamos, ¿verdad?, los servicios básicos necesarios para una familia. Allí fue una labor de hormiguita, ¿verdad?, que la hermana Margarita Navarro hizo y el padre Ángel con cada uno de los habitantes del barrio Batahola. Ellos se dieron a la tarea de visitar en un año todito, pues alrededor de 1,200 familias, casa por casa, a cada uno de los miembros de la familia, invitarlos donde pudiéramos llegar y sentirnos bien. El centro viene a ser la parte más importante de mi vida. Yo vine al centro cuando tenía 15 años y viniendo aquí al centro yo encontré mi horizonte y yo fui probando un poquito de todo. Y ahí encontré en los talleres de teatro, encontré mi pasión, decidí profesionalmente estudiar teatro y de eso es a lo que me dedico actualmente, ¿verdad?, como profesora de teatro. Pero a los niños de aquella época, darnos la oportunidad de tener una esperanza de mejores tiempos de vida, ayudarnos a estudiar, ayudarnos a profesionalizarnos, ayudarnos a encontrar a Dios en todas las cosas. Fue a través del arte, ¿verdad?, que el centro nos atrapa a los niños. Antes era una muchacha tímida, era una muchacha que me sentía fea, nada que ver con la Verónica que es ahora, ¿verdad? De reconocerme, de quererme, de aceptarme y de poder ver mi belleza interior y exterior con la que cuento como mujer. El poder descubrir tus dones y talentos a lo largo de la vida te hace ser fuerte. Realmente los valores del compartir, de ser solidaria, ¿verdad?, uno con otro, eso me han acompañado a lo largo de la vida. Creo que el mayor legado que Ángel y Margarita pudieron dejar en mí o sembrar en mí, esa semilla es que siempre nos anunciaron el reino de Dios. Y el reino de Dios no es esperar a morir para ir a disfrutar. Le decía, el reino de Dios se hace en esta tierra.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so wonderful to see Veronica, who's someone to me that just really exudes energy. I mean, she's a face I recognize from many, many years ago. And just so powerful to hear her story. She captures kind of the spirit of the center so well. Vos, Claudia, a ver ese video, ¿qué te hace sentir? ¿Qué reacciones tenés a ese video? So, Claudia, what does this video make you feel? What is your reaction upon seeing Veronica talk there?
Estar en estos 40 años en el Centro Cultural Batahola Norte, porque igual que Verónica, esta chavala de 15 años que llegó en la época de los 80, encontró una razón de ser, y creo que varias generaciones que hemos venido al centro hemos encontrado a Dios.
Yeah, it's really powerful. You know, I think the word that comes to mind when I see this Seeing Veronica's face there and telling her story, the immediate thing that comes to mind is gratefulness. Gratefulness that we're here celebrating these 40 years, but to feel so connected to her story as well. To imagine this young girl, as she says, 15 years of age, back in the 1980s there, who came to this place insecure, not sure of themselves, and really in this space found their reason for living, found their goals, found their talents, their vocation. And it's just very powerful to watch. And also in that, as she said there, found an encounter with God, which has been the case for so many people at the center as well.
Y como decía Verónica, que el centro se convierte en ese refugio, se convierte en una parte muy importante de las familias y es un hogar. Al final te sentís en casa y yo creo que esa era la misión y visión de Ángel y Margarita.
Yeah. And, the other thing that she mentions, and I think this is really important and has been the case for so many people, is that the center becomes a refuge, that it becomes a sanctuary. It's a safe space where people can come to be themselves, to really tap into their talents, into their vocation, and to be themselves. It's a place that they look forward to coming to. And I think that was a major hope and dream of what Ángel and Margarita wanted this space to be as well.
Sí, también Verónica mencionaba sobre que varios chavalos y chavalas se han profesionalizado. Allí también me ubico porque pues yo llegué al centro a los 17 años para poder culminar mi carrera universitaria y lo hice. Así que gracias al apoyo de las personas que nos están viendo ahorita, de las personas que en algún momento creen en las y los chavalos de Nicaragua.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's really powerful in her story, and is one that's really representative of so many people, is the possibility, thanks to the work of the center, to study, to develop oneself, and to become a professional. She talked about that as a young age, and I am also a representation of that. Someone who is able to come, study, receive scholarship, get my master's degree, and become a professional. And that's one, again, thanks to the generosity of you all, but I think is also just a very uplifting story for all of us who believe deeply in the potential of the young people, the young men and women of Nicaragua, that they, when given opportunities, can truly develop themselves and become the professionals they're meant to be. Muy bien, Claudia. También quiero mencionar algo rapidito aquí. So I'm just going to break in for a second here because one of the things that we will be doing throughout this event is that there is some artwork going on or that's going to be raffled off, some amazing artwork. Those of you who've been to the center or have seen its artwork over the years will know it well and are anxious to win some. And we have our first winners from the first segment here. So it is with great joy that I mention that Roberta Veleda and Scott Jones, you are our first two winners of the artwork today. Congratulations to you both. I also want to mention that we do have some questions coming in. So we'll be taking those for Claudia as well. There seems to be questions for me as well. But Claudia, una pregunta que está desde el público que nos está escribiendo es, ¿cuál sería tu recuerdo o actividad o evento favorito de todos esos años que tenés involucrado en el centro? So the question is, what is Claudia's favorite memory or experience with her years over at the center?
Son muchos.
There are a lot of them.
Uno, me gusta el espacio de la biblioteca, su terraza, me gusta esa vista.
I've always loved the library. We have this beautiful library on our center grounds and has this great upstairs. It's a 2-story building. It has this beautiful patio that has this lovely view outside.
Y también porque ahí todos los universitarios iniciamos nuestro servicio social y entonces, o sea, la biblioteca, aparte de ser el sueño de Margarita, yo siento que como es el corazón de las y los chavalos que vienen a hacer servicio social.
So this library, it's really turned into so much more than just a library. And the library was a dream of Sister Margarita. She always dreamed that the center in the neighborhood would have a library. But the library also serves as kind of the epicenter of the young adolescents and college students who serve as scholarship students. That's where they start their social service. So all the young people who get scholarships from the center are involved in volunteer work, service work, tutoring other students. And so in addition to being this amazing space as a library, it also serves as kind of the heart of youth activity as the students there begin their social service. So it's a very special and energetic place.
Y otra cosa que amo, y yo digo, wow, ¿dónde estamos trabajando? Qué maravilloso lo que dejó Ángel y Margarita. Son sus murales que representan nuestra historia y la música nicaragüense. O sea, escuchar a las y los chavalos del coro, tocar la marimba, tocar la flauta, llena mucho.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I just love so much about the center is the presence of art and culture literally on its walls. And sometimes I stop and I think, wow, what an amazing space that I get to work in, physically speaking, because there are these amazing, beautiful murals that are all over the walls of the center that really tell our history as a cultural center, as a country. And it's a piece of history that's captured in art. And then also the music, Nicaraguan folk music. To hear the young people of this neighborhood, whether it's in the chorus, whether it's in the orchestra and the different musical groups, it's so powerful. And that's such a special environment to be able to call home and to work in. Qué bueno, qué bueno. Y de hecho, hay una pregunta del público para mí. So I'm actually going to hop on. There was a quick question coming in from the public that's directed at myself. And it's asking a little bit about how I came to the center for the first time. And this is actually a story that I'm very happy to share. So I was one of many, many very lucky university students who over the years had the opportunity to do their study abroad in Nicaragua. I first came to the center in 2004 when I was a college student, which is crazy how long ago that was, how long this very special place has been a part of my life. And actually on my first night in Nicaragua, I was taken right to Batahola. And my first kind of experience in the neighborhood was at a Sunday mass. And, I was a religious studies major, Latin American studies major. So anyone who's ever been to mass at the center knows that it's this amazing combination of theology and art and activism and poetry. So I was kind of in my, theology student nerd heaven. It was love at first sight for me to be at mass there. The mural, anyone who's had a chance to visit, the New Dawn mural, which is behind the altar space, which is just this amazing artistic representation of a new dawn, the birth of Jesus in the Nicaraguan setting, so full of symbolism, so full of hope. I was blown away right away. And then very quickly from there, I had the opportunity of doing a month-long homestay in the Batahola neighborhood. And I was very, very lucky that Doña Connie Melendez was my host mother. And she has been a host mother to so many. And her home has really served as the epicenter for the Friends of Batahola over the years. And for countless people from all over the world have stayed with Doña Connie. And her hospitality, her love, her food, her ice cream, all of it is just, it's a quintessential part of the Batahola experience. So I'm so proud to say that was my home for a month and has kind of been a home. Anytime I go to the neighborhood over the years, I go by and see Doña Connie, who is so much loved by so many people who are present here today. But Batahola, since the 1980s and then really into the 1990s, was home to many, many college students from the United States, from Europe, who had the opportunity of staying with women from the neighborhood, a group of women who had originally been organized by Sister Margarita to host people in their homes so that real cultural exchange could go on. And then later on, Doña Eliana, all of us who know love Doña Ileana. She used to coordinate the homestay families at that time for Augsburg University, who was doing homestays there. So yeah, just a great experience there. So that's how I became a friend of Batahola and have been there ever since, and I'm loving it. And love to be now in a formal friendship relationship through this amazing organization, the Friends of Batahola, helping out the center. Creo que vamos a seguir al segundo video. So I think we're going to get ready for our second video here, which has to do with Margarita's dream, El Sueño de Margarita. ¿Algo que quiere decir, Claudia, acerca de ese video?
Sí, este segundo video también habla de todo ese aporte de las personas que nos han acompañado, como los amigos de Batahola, de que chavalos y chavalas de Nicaragua puedan profesionalizarse, puedan cumplir con sus metas y proyectos de vida. Y vamos a ver la historia de Patricia.
And so this video, this second video, really continues on with this theme of development, of personal growth in the support of a dream, Sister Margarita's dream that has been able to come to fruition thanks to the very generous support of our many friends of Batahola over the years. So we'll now take a look at this second video, in particular, the story and testimony of Patricia, who will share a little bit about her experience. So let's take a look at video number 2.
Mi nombre es Patricia Delgado Urbina, tengo 47 años de edad, soy de profesión de administración de empresa y contabilidad pública y finanzas y compartí en el centro 21 años. Yo llegué al centro a la edad de 11 años y fue a través de un compañero de clase del 6º grado que me comenzó a contar un poco de la historia de las actividades que realizaba en el centro y específicamente la música. Entonces eso me llamó mucho la atención y inicié como en clases de flauta dulce con el padre Ángel Torrellas, que en paz descanse, ¿verdad? Y bueno, y finalicé el curso y pude ser parte del coro de Batahola. Y más que la música, era la convivencia entre compañeros. Era aquella vivencia que Ángel y Margarita nos enseñaba cada día a ser mejor persona. Y hoy en día te puedo asegurar de que soy una persona de bien.
Y entonces, sí, siempre.
¿Y a quién reconocemos ahí? A ver.
Bueno, está Jenny, está
Merlice, ¿a quién
Carla.
reconoce?
Esta es
La
Carla.
Keila.
La
La Keila.
¿Cuál es
Esa
la Carla?
Esta es la
Sí, fue un proyecto muy bonito que nació en la comunidad.
Sí.
Y yo creo que el barrio Batahola fue ese proyecto de vida, de formación.
Nos volvemos como de otros seres, de otros planetas cuando damos la música y la tonalidad. Siempre viajamos a través de la música, el compañerismo, que todos no solamente es una sola voz, sino es un coro. Y llegamos hasta concursar a nivel nacional e internacional y nos ayudó de mucho porque fuimos reconocidos y eso pues fue un orgullo para todos. Muchos jóvenes que estudiamos aquí en el centro pues desarrollamos el emprendimiento y esa habilidad para conocer sobre el talento que teníamos en ese momento y que además podíamos emprenderlo con un negocio y eso ayudó de gran manera a la estabilidad económica de muchas familias. La disciplina que nos enseñó tanto Ángel y Margarita pues nos ayudó en nuestro diario vivir, ¿verdad? Como personas, como profesionales, como emprendedores y entonces eso sí, la formación fue un papel muy importante en mi niñez para poder lograr muchas cosas en mi vida. Culminé 2 carreras universitarias, ¿verdad? La primera me ayudó el Centro Cultural, la otra con mi propio esfuerzo. Y una vez que finalicé mi carrera universitaria, logré iniciar en la Procuraduría para la Defensa de los Derechos Humanos. Ahí actualmente soy auditora supervisora. El centro siempre va a necesitar de nuestro apoyo y solidaridad para cumplir con la visión, misión y objetivos organizacionales, que es un legado que nos dejó Ángel y Margarita, que en paz descanse y que siempre lo vamos a llevar en nuestro corazón.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. What a beautiful story and images. And I think it's so impactful to see on each of these videos just kind of the emotional power that the center has had on all of these individuals, that they're moved just to even tell the story and the impact it's had on them. And I think it moves all of us as well. Les decía al público que es muy impactante ver la emoción en la cara de esos 2 videos porque se nota que el impacto ha sido muy grande y es muy real y eso nos conmueve también al verlo. No sé qué reacciones tiene usted, so we'll see what reactions Claudia has to that video.
Sí, aquí estamos intentando no llorar.
Yeah, so she's saying we're all sitting around here trying our best not to cry as we watch these videos as well today.
Pero estamos, o sea, no, ahorita es como una especie de ese recorrido de saber cuántas familias han sido apoyadas por el centro, que llegaron por un amigo, o por una amiga, o por la vecina, cómo se han encontrado a través de la música, o sea, saber que el centro también es un espacio para la formación artística, sí.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's really moving, as you all can imagine, as I sit here, as some of my coworkers in the room are sitting here, we are taking this journey down memory lane. As we watch these videos, we remember these 40 years, we hear the stories, and it is just so powerful to think how some drawn by music, others by art and dance, or the coming to the library, ended up gaining so much more, ended up gaining this life-changing experience, which has meant so much to us. I also want to take a moment here to say, in terms of donations, again, click, 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 my friends. Let's go to that main page. We are doing well. We are advancing along, and we are just shy of 8,000, as you can see there. So let's bump that up. Maybe there's some $51 there. If my math is not wrong, that was not my specialty. But for anyway, we are close to 8,000 there. Let's get there and beyond. And a huge thank you to all of our donors today and all of our donors over the years. That has been the heart of this experience, has been our friendship, has been the solidarity, and has been this sense of accompaniment. And I really just want to highlight that word, accompaniment. Actually, I heard a few years ago, you know, the writer Brené Brown, she actually did her kind of doctoral thesis about the word accompaniment in Spanish, and largely saying how we don't have a way in English of really summing up what that Spanish verb of walking with, accompanying people means. And the center in Nicaragua is such an amazing example of walking with, accompanying people in their ups and downs, their struggles, their hopes and dreams. Margarita and Angel understood that very well. And in turn, we, the Friends of Batahola, have learned so much from it. And we have created communities out of that experience. And I think for me, that has been the most moving experience of these years, are the communities that I have now formed with folks in Cincinnati, folks in Minnesota, folks all over the United States, in Baton Rouge, where we've had so much support from the very early years. Communities of friends who formed out of this love and want and desire to accompany the people of Nicaragua. And the byproduct of that, which maybe they didn't expect, is that they have now found friends and community members who accompany them in a very special way. I think about our friends all over. I think about our dear friends like Sue Keefe, for example, who so much dedication and love for this center and this desire to give and support Nicaragua. But I think she would also be the first one to say that the real gift has been the sense of community, of meaning, of an accompaniment that she has felt from people in Nicaragua, from others in Cincinnati. It's just kind of given and has meant so much more to all of us over the years than we ever could have imagined. And that is the power and the spirit of accompaniment. And that is what we're celebrating today, is those 40 years of certainly us accompanying Nicaragua, but maybe even more importantly, the folks of Batahola who have accompanied us through our ups and downs and have taught us how to be community. It's just a really, really beautiful experience to be sharing as well. So I am going to look here. I know we have another question, if I can. Got a lot of questions coming in, actually. So let me just take a look here. It looks like we have a question from Melvin, our good friend Melvin. Una pregunta para vos, Claudia, de Melvin. Aquí, tu amigo del programa de becas. Partiendo de que has aprendido y tus experiencias en el centro, ¿cómo crees que tú impactas la vida de tu familia y otros beneficios del centro? Okay, so Melvin is asking us there, a good friend back from the scholarship days. Out of your experience, Claudia, what have you learned? And from your experiences, how do you think you have impacted the lives of others in your family and beyond? ¿Qué impacto has tenido vos, Claudia, en la vida de los demás por gracias al trabajo en el centro?
Saludos a Melvin y a la familia Otero.
Yeah. Love first to our dear friend Melvin and his whole family, the Otero family there.
Sí, yo creo que voy a configurar la pregunta. La pregunta que me hago es como, ¿qué impacto tuvo en mi vida venir aquí al centro y qué impacto tuvo en mi familia?
Mm-hmm. So I think as I listen to that question, I almost reframe it a little bit. And the question that always comes to me is, how did my experience of going to the center impact my life? And in turn, how did that impact my family and others?
Como decía, yo venía a los 17 años por mi abuelita que me trajo al centro.
So as I mentioned, I first came here at the age of 17. It was thanks to my grandmother that I first came.
Iba a la universidad, tenía que entrar a la universidad, pero mi abuelita dijo que ya no podía cubrirme o pagarme mis estudios universitarios, entonces que ya tenía que trabajar.
And like the experience of so many other young people at that time, I was at an age where it was time to go to university. I wanted to go to university, but my grandmother, said, hey, we don't have the money to do this. I can't cover you here. You're going to have to go to work instead.
Entonces ahí, por una vecina, mi abuela se enteró de que existía un centro cultural Batahola Norte.
And then, thanks to a neighbor, and this is oftentimes the case, my grandmother found out from a neighbor of hers that there was this place not too far away from our home, which was called the Cultural Center of Batahola Norte.
Y pues ahí llegó Claudia Regina, una chavala nerviosa que no sabía cómo aplicar, que le iban a preguntar, que se iba a quedar también, no sabía.
So I showed up very nervous, very insecure, wasn't sure what to say, wasn't sure if I'd get accepted, had no idea if I'd even be allowed in.
Y pues me dieron la noticia de que había quedado en el proyecto becas.
And so I was told that I was accepted into the scholarship program.
Y cuando me dieron la noticia, eso fue emocionante porque fue como, voy a poder entrar a la universidad y voy a poder profesionalizarme.
And so that was a huge moment for me, as you can imagine, because I was all of a sudden realizing, yes, university will be a possibility for me. Yes, I can become a professional.
Y pues no se imaginan cómo estaba mi abuelita, hasta lloró, porque sabía que ella no podía pagarme la universidad, pero saber de que había alguien o que habían varias personas que iban a acompañarme.
And you can imagine too, my grandmother, you know, the emotion. I remember her, when I gave her the news that I had been accepted, she actually cried quite a bit, because as all parents and grandparents, they want to provide for their kids, but she wasn't able to do so financially. And so for her to know that others were going to be able to support in that initiative was very moving for her as well.
Y pues aquí estoy a 35 años, terminé mi carrera. Tengo una maestría en comunicación que fui a España a estudiarla. Y pues mi familia muy agradecida con el centro y con los FOC.
Mm-hmm. And so here I am, you know, some years later. I'm now 35 years old. I'm a professional. I was able to get my master's degree. I was actually able to do that in Spain, where I studied in a master's program. I'm working, I'm independent. And again, all of that is very much thanks to the support of the Cultural Center and also to the great generosity of the Friends of Batahola.
Y ahora me queda seguir acompañando a otras familias, y ese acompañamiento no se hace solo, se hace con ustedes, quienes están detrás de esta pantalla, quienes están aquí en este espacio.
So today, my role, you know, besides just my formal job description, my real role is to accompany people, to accompany families, to accompany my coworkers. And again, the beautiful thing about that is that I don't do that alone. The work that I do, the accompaniment I do, is with the presence, I know, of all of you here who are behind your cameras or on your phone screens. And it's also the folks here who are with me in this room, in this office, joining me today, and all of my colleagues. So it is really a communal effort of accompanying people on their journey.
Y creo yo que ese compromiso se transmite, porque ahora Melvin es parte de amigos y amigas de Batahola. Ahorita yo sé que nos están viendo nuevas personas que quieren ser amigos y amigas de Batahola, y yo les hago ese llamado y esa invitación a que formen parte.
Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, this love and this energy really does get transmitted and passed down to others. You know, Melvin, who is asking that question, I know he now accompanies us and supports us with the Friends of Batahola, as does his family. And I know that there are others like him in this younger generation who are interested in finding ways to be supportive, to be a part of our family. And so certainly we invite new people who want to join in this experience of being a part of the Friends of Batahola. You are very welcome to join us here.
Sí, y también agradecer quienes nos han acompañado desde el día 1, como Jubilee Partner, la familia Kif, José Rit. No sé si José Rit nos está viendo, pero le mandamos un gran saludo. Realmente gracias.
And just a big thanks. You know, there are so many folks all over the world in different countries who've accompanied us from day one. Folks who are here in Nicaragua, folks who are in the States, you know, the Keefe family, folks in Cincinnati who've been with us from the very beginning, folks all over. So we're just so grateful for this family of friends who is around us. Yeah, muy bien, excelente. ¿Qué te parece si miramos otro video? What do you think if we go on to our next video? ¿Hay algo que querés decir de ese video?
Sí, a continuación, vamos a mirar todo el aporte que brindó Jennifer Marshall al Centro Cultural.
So in this next video, we're going to move up into more recent times and take a particular look at the impact that Jennifer Marshall, who is a former general coordinator of the center, had on our work and life at the center during her time here.
Y cómo el Centro Cultural ha evolucionado, ha crecido, y que ahora somos más.
Mm-hmm. And this video does a wonderful job of really showing how the center has evolved over time, how it came from being a center formed by its founders, moved into a space of being more formalized as a nonprofit, as an NGO, and now has expanded its work into many different fields.
Así que a disfrutarlo.
Yes, so let's enjoy this next in our series of videos. Enjoy.
Bueno, mi nombre es Jennifer Marshall, tengo 53 años y soy traductora e intérprete. Yo empecé en el Centro Cultural en el año 2005. Empecé en enero 2005 con el equipo que había en ese entonces, con Sonia, con Josefa, Iliana, con Milari, estaba Francisco también. Y estuve hasta diciembre de 2016. Así, este proceso de entrar fue algo para mí un poco mágico. Siento que logramos consolidar los programas. Hicimos una serie de planes estratégicos que permitieron ese crecimiento con una visión de cómo queríamos crecer. Vimos una explosión en la cantidad de estudiantes y también un crecimiento en temas. Un crecimiento de sistematizar y trabajar el tema de la violencia, la prevención de violencia hacia las mujeres y también crecimiento físico, de renovación de instalaciones, de pensar cómo ordenar el espacio. Lo que logra que avanzáramos ahí en medio de los retos es de estar unidas como equipo, unidas con la comunidad, con las personas. La confianza en el Centro Cultural viene, creo, de estar presente en ese espacio desde los 40 años que está cumpliendo, de haber iniciado de la mano con las personas del barrio, del trabajo de Margarita, de escuchar el trabajo de Ángel, de acompañar, de abrir los espacios, abrir las puertas para tantas personas. Y yo creo que este espíritu ha continuado y sigue siendo el corazón de lo que es el Centro Cultural. Lo que yo tengo presente como un desarrollo en términos de programas y proyectos, tomar el trabajo de acompañar a las mujeres en su lucha contra la violencia y el logro de tener los recursos y lo que vino también, el impacto en la vida de las mujeres y también